This is LBC News.
So it was an explosive encounter in the Oval Office between Donald Trump, Volodymyr Zelensky and Vice President J.D. Vance. Early on in the photo opportunity, or was supposed to be a photo opportunity, the president accused his opposite number of gambling with World War III.
You're right now not in a very good position. You've allowed yourself to be in a very bad position, and he happens to be right about it.
From the very beginning of the war.
You're not in a good position. You don't have the cards right now. With us, you start having cards. But right now, you don't. Yeah, you're playing cards.
Mr. President.
You're playing cards.
Serious.
You're gambling with the lives of millions of people. You're gambling with World War III. You're gambling with World War III.
Well, the Ukrainian president was then further accused of disrespecting the United States.
I think it's disrespectful for you to come into the Oval Office and try to litigate this in front of the American media. Right now, you guys are going around and forcing conscripts to the front lines because you have manpower problems. You should be thanking the president for trying to bring an end to this conflict.
Well, Simon Marks is LBC News US correspondent, joins us live from Washington now. Simon, I mean, this is undoubtedly a big turning point in this Ukraine situation, in particular in Ukraine-US relations. And this was really rather unexpected.
Yes, absolutely unexpected, given what we'd seen only 24 hours previously. The Prime Minister, Keir Starmer, in the same Oval Office, sitting in the same chair that Volodymyr Zelensky was occupying today, and flattering his way with Donald Trump and winning Donald Trump over. 24 hours later, that effort appeared to have been for naught, as Donald Trump and J.D. Vance, and I think it's important to underscore, David, the role that the Vice President, J.D. Vance, played in all of this, ganging up together on Volodymyr Zelensky and turning that meeting into a catastrophe with which Number 10 is now dealing. We're told that the Prime Minister has spoken tonight to both President Trump and President Zelensky, and he has, according to a Number 10 spokeswoman, Keir Starmer says he retains his unwavering support for Ukraine and is playing his part to find a path forward to a lasting peace based on sovereignty and security for Ukraine. The Prime Minister looks forward to hosting international leaders on Sunday, including President Zelensky. Of course, Donald Trump will not be at that gathering in London on Sunday, which had been previously arranged, and about which Keir Starmer was speaking at the White House not 30 hours ago. But now all eyes are going to be on that meeting, on Number 10 and on other European governments that tonight are lining up in solidarity behind Volodymyr Zelensky following the treatment that he suffered today at the hands of the President and the Vice President of the United States. He was ejected from the White House, thrown out on Donald Trump's orders at the end of that drubbing. The President saying that Volodymyr Zelensky should only come back when he's ready for peace. And, of course, the plan to sign that minerals deal that Donald Trump covets in Ukraine, because it's going to give him access for generations to come to much of Ukraine's valuable rare earths, those very valuable minerals that include lithium, much needed by countries as they develop the new economy that's tech-based. Donald Trump stressing again only yesterday that those rare earths are essential for the United States to get their hands on. Well, he lost an opportunity today to try and persuade diplomatically Volodymyr Zelensky to sign that agreement, because he was too busy roughing him up in front of the cameras in the Oval Office. And when you heard J.D. Vance say there that it's outrageous that Volodymyr Zelensky hasn't thanked the United States, well, first of all, he has on numerous occasions thanked the United States for the support that it has provided. But Vance also saying it was outrageous that Zelensky was trying to litigate matters in front of the television cameras. It wasn't Zelensky that decided that the cameras should stay in that room for 45 minutes. It was supposed to be a routine photo op where Zelensky and Trump would walk in, they'd welcome one another, they'd say nice things about one another for a couple of minutes, and then the cameras would be thrown out. But instead, Donald Trump and the White House news managers, the press shop managers, decided to turn this into a made-for-TV evisceration of the Ukrainian Ukrainian leader, and a very clear statement came out of that meeting at times by Donald Trump himself, that Donald Trump feels closer to Vladimir Putin and more sympathy towards Russia than he feels towards Ukraine. He said that he was simply standing in the middle between the two of them, didn't want to be aligned with anyone, but it was absolutely evident as he parroted all of Vladimir Putin's talking points, and as the Russians have reacted with glee tonight to what took place in the Oval Office, that this was a breaking point for the United States with Ukraine, for the United States with Europe, for the United States with NATO. That nothing can be the same after those events in the Oval Office today, and now with this statement from number 10 that the Prime Minister has unwavering support for Ukraine and is playing his part to find a path towards a lasting peace based on sovereignty and security for Ukraine. And that's the key phrase there. The UK still insisting, like Volodymyr Zelensky, that the United States needs to provide the security guarantees about which Donald Trump has dissembled all week long when it comes to talking about negotiating peace in Ukraine. I think, 24 hours after we all thought we were witnessing the renaissance of the relationship between London and Washington, that bilateral relationship is now in deep, deep trouble. And Donald Trump, David, has essentially communicated to Europe that the transatlantic relationship as we have known it for the last 80 years is now at an end.
It's really hard to find a positive outcome for this because, as we said, we were expecting a fairly standard evening, the standard kind of photo call in the Oval Office, followed by a press conference. That's now been cancelled. Volodymyr Zelensky leaving the White House early. I understand President Trump is now on his way to Mar-a-Lago for the rest of the day. What chance of any sort of reconciliation here? He said that President Zelensky is welcome back when he's ready for peace, but there's no real sign of any sort of ongoing conversation.
Yeah, I think it's going to be very difficult for Zelensky to walk back into an Oval Office in which Donald Trump is sitting. I mean, I suppose the one positive spin that one could put on all of this is that finally there's clarity. Everybody can stop talking about the special relationship between London and Washington. Everyone can stop talking about America being at the heart of European security. We now know where Donald Trump stands, and he stands with the aggressor. He stands against the aggrieved, and he is winning support for the position that he has taken from pliant Republicans, even from Senator Lindsey Graham, a key member of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, who in the past has done his bit on occasion to talk Donald Trump down from the ledge. Take a listen to what Lindsey Graham, who was at the White House for that meeting, had to say after it ended.
Somebody asked me, am I embarrassed about Trump? I have never been more proud of the president. I was very proud of J.D. Vance, standing up for our country. We want to be helpful. What I saw in the Oval Office was disrespectful, and I don't know if we can ever do business with Zelensky again. I think most Americans saw a guy that they would not want to go in business with. The way he handled the meeting, the way he confronted the president was just over the top. So I think the relationship between Ukraine and America is important, vitally important. But can Zelensky do a deal with the United States? After what I saw, I don't know.
That's Senator Lindsey Graham bailing on Volodymyr Zelensky, selling his shares in Ukraine and going all in with Donald Trump, who today engaged in the full 180-degree U-turn from the policies that had been advanced by President Joe Biden and even, frankly, by President Donald Trump during his first term in office. But now Donald Trump surrounded only by sycophants and acolytes within his inner circle, being supported even by people who, frankly, know better and who are making their choice tonight, like Senator Lindsey Graham there, making it clear that America's doors are now largely closed to President Volodymyr Zelensky. I had a message a little bit earlier tonight from one former senior official who knows all the players in this drama extremely well and who has spent an enormous amount of time both in Ukraine and in Russia itself. That official texted me to say Zelensky is going to have to resign. I think not because it was his fault, but because there's zero chance of saving anything in the relationship with him still in power. The U.S. relationship, he says, is now irredeemable as long as Zelensky is there. The words of a former senior official who has worked both with the Ukrainians and the Russians in the past, now deeply depressed about the state of America's relationship with Ukraine tonight and the state of America's friendship and burgeoning relationship with Vladimir Putin's Moscow.
Simon, thank you very much for joining us. Simon Marks, our US correspondent, speaking to us from Washington.